Welcome back to the Funding Blueprint, the podcast that helps founders and startups crack the code on growth, strategy, and scaling smarter. Today, we're joined by Janet Carlson, a true pioneer at the intersection of healthcare and entrepreneurship. With a fascinating background that blends deep medical knowledge, years in big pharma and Madison Avenue medical advertising, and a bold leap into the startup world, Janet has been reshaping how healthcare companies connect with professionals for over 2 decades. As the founder of one of the first digital agencies focused on pharma, launching groundbreaking innovations like the first pharma website and direct-to-physician email programs, Janet continues to push the envelope today as CEO of the 111 Group. Her team uses cutting-edge AI-driven tools to help healthcare companies craft fast, flexible, and inclusive brand and business strategies that accelerate growth. In today's episode, we'll be discussing how AI can make content creation and your whole job easier, the importance of having a plan and how to get one fast and fun, and whether you truly know your sweet spot. Can you clearly say your one-liner description of your business, what you offer, and to whom? Let's get started. Janet, welcome to the show.
Oh my God, I don't think I'm going to be able to live that description up.
We're super excited to have you here today.
Same.
And let's just jump right into it.
Sure.
So, Janet, you've been ahead of the curve when it comes to using AI in a real and tactical way, not just as a buzzword.
Right.
And at 111 Group, you've brought AI into your process to help healthcare companies move faster and smarter. So can you walk us through how AI is transforming the day-to-day work of marketers and strategists in this space and how your company itself really leverages it?
Well, let me just back up for a second. I'm either blessed or cursed with being an ideator. So it depends on if you like ideators or you hate ideators, whether, I personally love it. It's gotten me into some trouble in my career. Ideating, I didn't really discover this until I worked for a startup company, but then, they kind of cut me loose. And at the first agency I worked with, they really cut me loose. They let me, my boss said, you want to write new programs, write them. And so, I was really encouraged to embrace that gift. So when I started my own company, I really tuned into that. I mean, it was really, what can we do that's different than everybody else? So I think the right word is paradox that goes along with this, because in the world, 2.5% of people are innovators. So when I come up with a new idea and there's a room full of people, 2.5% of them are going to go, holy crap, I need that right now. The rest of them are going to be like, what the actual hell is this woman talking about? Like, I'm going back to my iPhone because I can't handle it, I can't stand it, or I don't understand it. It's one of those things. So, you have to find your tribe. And lucky for me, I've been able to figure out who in the pharma healthcare world are my 2.5%ers. And even then, they can be stymied by their leadership. So I see more and more companies that are saying we have to be bolder because we won't stand out otherwise. So now that I've said all this background crap, now I'm forgetting what the actual question is. It was really, how are we tapping into AI as a company? Okay, I didn't screw that up. Excellent. So it's really, because we had a very big team when we worked in New York City. We were in the city. We were born in New York City, and we're working there for over 20 years. And we moved up to the northwest corner of Connecticut, and I just was tired of being a scoutmaster. Honestly, it's just like I'm really good at ideas. I'm not great at being a boss. I like working on a team, and I'm a natural leader. That's fine, but I wanted a smaller team just because I wanted to be able to see all my people and have us really work cohesively. Perfect for AI because I have a small team. There's really 6 on the core team, and when we use AI tools, we're a team of 40 because we're so much better. So I'll give you an example. We created a bot that helped me create content. So we did this, I think it was probably 8 months ago or so when we were really digging into it. And I was really trying to create content ahead of time. I was working with our social media manager. Her voice was not the same as my voice. My voice is, the brand of the 111 Group. I curse. I'm sassy. I'm in your face. Like I'm, again, speaking to the 2.5%, not everybody digs that stuff. But the problem was we didn't have consistency. So if Doug or John or Harry or Ellie or anybody else was posting, then it didn't sound the same. And so brand consistency is really key, not just in voice, but also when you do it. I mean, you can have an amazing post, but you post once a year. You get nowhere with that. So we created a bot. At the time, we called it a brand bot, but that was trademark, actually. We dug into it as trademarks. We're like, okay, we're not going to call it brand bot. So now we're calling it Voxy, which plays along with the other stuff that we do because it's voice driven. So we created a bot that has me baked into it. So we went through a whole process. What words do I use? What phrases do I use? More importantly, what do I not say? How do I not say it? How does our brand not look at things? So it was really creating those guardrails, but also here's what it is, and most importantly, what is it not? And all that's baked in there. And so, like I use my bot. Anybody in the team can use my bot, and the brand voice is baked in there, which is really key. And for busy CEOs, I write a crap ton of stuff every day. And I try to imagine some of my friends who are running much bigger companies. Why don't they have a bot? Are they insane? It's not, you're not doing the work. I think people see this as being some sort of crutch, some sort of cop out. That's bullshit. Pardon my French. I know it's not French. I don't know how to say bullshit in French, actually.
I don't either.
All right. But the point is, every busy person should have a bot with their voice baked into it. Why? Because it's smart and you get stuff done faster and better. It's not that you're not doing the work. The idea has to come from you. It doesn't create the post that you're going to do. It doesn't create the direction or, the experience that's baked into that. So, I just, we have bots that we built for ourselves, and we're like, holy moly, this is a game changer for us. And we talk to clients because they'll say, how is it that you're doing this? And we're like, well, because we have Voxy to back it. And they're like, what is Voxy? And, then we get into a conversation. So we're building, 3 or 4 Voxys for clients a week.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's truly amazing. Have you had any challenges that you've encountered using?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Can you dive into that
a little bit?
Yeah,
I'll tell you something that happened yesterday. So we're working on building a sales funnel bot. One of the things that we've never been good at historically, and honestly, we didn't have to be, because we were in pharma companies, we were in healthcare companies. If you walk down the hallway, then you ran to someone else who's like, oh yeah, I saw that website you did, or I saw this, whatever you did. I need it for my team. So if you walk down the hallway, you'd pick up 6 pieces of business just by breathing. So it's a different world now. It's, after COVID, things changed a bit, but we're working on a sales funnel bot because I said to one of my business partners, Doug Bloom, I was like, dude, we need to build a sales funnel bot because I have so much stuff going on right now. I'm going to drop some balls. I need a way to really track it. And I've looked at Monday and I've looked at, like all these other programs, and they're either too bulky, too busy, too everything. I want one customized to what I want. So we looked into it, and we actually used our content bot to help us build it because it knows my voice. So it's sassy, so Doug he spent all day. So it was kind of hilarious because all day long, the dude is laughing. I was like, what are you laughing about? He goes, oh my God, it's so sassy. Because I'm like, no, that's not right. It's like, well, hell's bells, mister. We better figure something out. It says, it drops the F-bomb. It's really sassy. So the problem was, it's just not quite working. The dots are not connecting. What I want it to do and what it can do aren't quite connecting. We just haven't figured out. We need Zapier, or we need, we're building it with a bunch of tools built in with it, and they're not talking to each other right. So that's part of the AI process. It's just you have to get the tools to talk to each other the way that you want them to deliver the end result. And we actually ran it for the first time because I built my sheets with my leads, my proposals, follow-up, and all that stuff. And it went just, I want to say tits up, but that's probably, so I hope this is explicit because I'm the worst. I'm like a sailor mouth. So it actually hallucinated all the data. Like none of the clients were accurate. None of the proposals were right. None of the brand, like our AI tools were branded right. I'm like, what the crap? And Doug's just like, oh my God, this just crapped the bed. But which is fine. So it's just one of those things where you go back to the drawing board and you just say, okay, that didn't work. Cool. What next?
Yeah, definitely. Love that. Kind of shifting a little bit here. One thing that I really appreciate about your approach is that you emphasize strategy without making it feel like homework. You talk about planning in a way that's fast, clear, and can actually be fun, which is such a different tone than most other startup playbooks. So, my question for you, how do you balance the rigor of strategic planning with keeping it engaging and accessible for busy founders and teams? And can you share an example of how you make planning fun and how it's worked well for you and your company?
So, ironically, yesterday I was looking at our plan. Hang on just a second. And one of the things is, like we've built tools that update. I don't know if I printed that out, but I'll show you the other thing. Oh, hang on. Hold, please. So, we've been busy working on our tools. One of the things that we realized was, we'd create business plans, but they were 60 pages. No one reads 60-page business plans because you know what? It's kind of boring. So what we did was we stepped back and we said, because we were working with so many startups or only a third of businesses have a plan. Small and medium companies have a business plan. Are you kidding me? So you have over 70% of businesses without any bloody plan. Like, how the hell do you get through the day? I don't know what you're doing. So, but the problem is a lot of people don't write or they don't write well. No one wants to be tasked with that because it's a pain in the ass. So you have a lot of barriers already before you get started. So we cut it down to, I think it was 54 questions. Like, what do you really need to know to write a business plan? And what we did was, rather than having you write it, we have you record your answers with your voice. So we built a program that basically asks you these questions. You see the question on the screen and you answer it with your team. So you can have it up on the computer in the conference room. You discuss the question and then you have a spokesperson, ideally, that answers the question. Other people can chime in. Like if somebody forgot an important element, add it in. We did that. So last November, we did it ourselves around our conference table. And within a couple hours, we had our business plan. Done.
That's
So for clients, we usually take at least a couple days because we look at the transcript. We review the transcript, we listen to what's being said, we just make sure everything was put in there, and then we'll add some insights, for the client to consider. And then they get their final business plan. But guess what? It's done within a week. And then once that's done, we'll then send additional marketing questions and we'll craft the marketing plan. So yesterday, I realized that our marketing plan needed to be updated because we've actually created a few products since we did our plan, which was April 1st, by the way. So it's June 3rd yesterday. And I went back in, I reviewed our stuff. This is actually our marketing plan. You can see this.
Oh, awesome.
I know. So updated the plan. It's nice and updated. And then did the marketing plan. But it's just it's only a couple pages. So it's, pretty brief. But I'm updating that whenever we're thinking about it, instead of waiting until the, next November, which is crazy. I'm updating it every couple months. You know why? Because I can.
Yeah.
It's already in our bot. So once we did our brief, our brand map brief, that's what the product name is, we inserted into our Voxy bot. And then I can just say, you know what, here's additional information. We introduced Voxy, we did this, we did that, update that into our business plan, and then let's update the marketing plan.
Yeah.
So,
Gee, I love that approach.
It took me less than 15 minutes to do both.
Yeah.
And then I emailed it to my team and I said, please review, we're going to be discussing on Thursday.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And it was fun, but it was fun because I just, I'm watching it. Come on, marketing plan, less fluff, more fire. Jesus, if you don't like that, something's wrong with you.
Kind of diving into that a little bit deeper, what are some critical elements that every startup we can get into healthcare specifically if you'd like, should include in their initial plan to ensure that it's actionable and aligned with growth goals?
I'm going to look at actually my stuff because
Perfect.
since we've worked on this, we've been doing, I think we've done over 50 of them now in the last year and a
Wow.
half. So believe me, we're really good at writing these things.
Yeah.
I mean, you assess your current situation. So it's really capturing where are you now? Because the whole point of a business plan is where are you right now? Where the hell do you want to go? And then craft a
Yeah.
strategy and tactics to get there. It's not rocket science. But you have to
Yeah.
realize in a realistic way, where am I right now? Where's my team right now? What are my challenges? What are my opportunities? Where are my
Yeah.
weaknesses? It's the same, it's the same thing you see, but I think I crafted it a little bit more positively because, like, who wants to talk about threats? I look at opportunities. Sure, there's always
Yeah.
threats out there, but, like, whatever. Again, I'm dealing in the 2.5%, which very few companies want to do. So it's current situation, it's your challenges, because that's just realistic. You have to differentiate yourself. Even if
Yeah.
you're the wackadoodles like us that are like making shit up, there's other companies making shit up too. We're not the only ones on the planet. And I hear about it. Usually they're bigger companies, like much bigger companies with much bigger dollars, but they go through so much more stuff. I can innovate more in a day because I don't have anybody, I have no one telling me I can't do it,
Yeah.
why I can't do it, or I don't have the money to do it, or whatever, or no one will buy it. I mean, it's just like I just do whatever I want. You define your target audiences. You come up with a so that statement. You're doing this so that you can do that. We go through findings and recommendations, redefining identity, boost thought leadership, that kind of stuff. You have your North Star. So it's really your mission. Like, what are you doing? And why are you doing it? Mission, vision, values plays into that. So if you don't know your own mission, vision, values, like what the actual are you doing? And then moving forward, what are you going to do? How are you going to make this happen? What are the tactics specifically that you're doing? And then what's the time frame on that? And you lay out the time frame, you bust this out. And it's not, what does it say? We're not building decks, we're building momentum. The 111 group is locked, loaded, and ready to scale. Let's go lead the damn industry. Boom.
Love it.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Powerful.
Yep. Fun.
You mentioned fun, most importantly. You mentioned, that differentiation. And, a huge part of building strategy is knowing what makes your company different. You've previously called this the sweet spot, that powerful overlap between what you do best and what the market really needs. So my next question is, for founders that are still figuring out their core offering or their target audience, what steps or questions do you use to help them distill their business into that one compelling one-liner?
It's probably 10 questions because we do a sweet spot survey. One of the things with our clients, because I'll ask them, who are you? And they go, want for like an hour and a half. I'm like, okay, cut. That's boring. Tell me in one line, because no one is going to stand there listening to that for days. It's just no one gives a shit. So spit it out, man. Try again. And then they still womp for maybe 30 minutes. And I'm like, no, try again. So it's really, what are you passionate about? If you don't know what you're exactly going to do, what rocks your boat? If you don't get up in the morning and you're like, damn, I got to get to work, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? AI has really excited me. AI in healthcare is really exciting because people are afraid to use it. They're afraid of hallucinations. They're afraid of mistakes. They're afraid of 101 things. No, keep in mind, we're not tackling healthcare with patients directly. And I do think that there does need to be more caution there, because if you're diagnosing a patient with AI and there's hallucination, that could be problematic, as you can see. What we're doing is we're helping the brands, pharmaceutical brands, healthcare brands that are working with patients, sharpen their messaging, create their tactics to get awareness out. Most of what we're doing is really crafting their messaging and then helping build awareness to build their business. But it's, with 10 simple questions, it makes you stop and think, well, wait a minute. What am I doing? What am I doing that's different? Who am I talking to? And you know what? You don't have to get it perfect the first time. I think it takes, and I can certainly tell you, when did we redo this? I want to say February. We were really digging into our messaging because what I was getting back was, no one knows what the actual hell you're talking about, Janet. It's not clear enough. And I was like, okay, Christ almighty, like, we're a messaging company. But what I can tell you is writing your own messaging is not that easy. So we stepped back and we actually got a couple of our friends who are in the business to help us. And we really stepped back and we went through our own process with a little guidance from some friends. And, they poked holes in it. I would actually post some of this stuff and ask my friends to poke holes in it, which they drove buses through it, and bulldozers, which was tough to take sometimes because you think, oh my God, I've totally nailed it. And they're like, yeah, no way, Jose. And there were a couple of tense moments around the conference table because a couple of us were clashing over what the messaging was. And, I thought I'd really nailed it, and I hadn't. So, guys ready for the mic drop, and everybody's like, no. So, and it's frustrating, but it's a process you have to go through. And then once we finally got to, we're healthcare marketing Sherpas, people started going, oh, okay. And then we didn't have the right imagery on our site. So the imagery wasn't tying with our words. And one of my industry buddies was like, what the hell? You have light bulbs with healthcare Sherpas. Where are the fucking Sherpas? And I was like, okay, you got a point. So we revamped again. And finally I was like, okay, what do you think? And everybody nodded their heads. So even for people who do this as a living, it's not easy, but you can't give up. It's really, you have to keep digging in, even when the answer is not quite yet. You're not done yet.
Definitely. Completely agree. Shifting a little bit again, you've already seen firsthand how AI is changing the game, but the pace of change is only accelerating in today's world, right? So how do you see AI evolving in the healthcare marketing space, and what should startups be thinking about now to stay ahead of the curve? Yeah, 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 yeah. Mhm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Completely agree. But unfortunately, that is a wrap on today's episode of the Funding Blueprint. Huge thank you to you, Janet, for taking us behind the curtain of healthcare marketing and showing us just how much more creative, strategic, and even fun it can be when done right. Yeah, from the power of AI to streamline content creation, to the importance of a strategic plan that doesn't just sit in a drawer, Janet, you reminded us that clarity, speed, and innovation aren't just buzzwords. They're essential tools for any founder navigating the complexities of healthcare and beyond. And if there's one thing we're walking away with, it's this: knowing your sweet spot, what you do, who you serve, and how you do it better is not just marketing, it's mission critical. Because if you can say it simply, you can probably sell it effectively.
Amen, sister.
If this conversation sparked ideas for your own go-to-market strategy, be sure to check out Janet's work at the 111 Group and explore tools like Voxy that are reshaping how brand planning gets done. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a founder or marketer who's ready to turn complexity into clarity. Thank you so much again, Janet. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Funding Blueprint.